Everything happens in the moment here now, in the moment here now, in the moment here now, and you can come back, roughly speaking, in quotes at the same moment, because in fact, there are not the same moments. There are similar moments, right? Similar moments, when you think it's the same moment when you move from one reality to another, it's actually not so. When you transition into a new personality, you literally appear in a new universe, in a new galaxy. It's similar to the one you were moments ago, but it's different. And it makes no sense for you to cling to the past. Some events that you didn't miss something there. You are always in the perfect moment. You can get as much information as will be favorably perceived by you to get what you want. If you did not perceive some information at that moment, therefore, because it is unfavorable now, it is up to you. Only at the moment when it becomes favorable, by any means this information will catch up with you. And all you have to do is let her come. You don't have to run after someone. It doesn't make any sense, because everything that is running after you. It's catching up with you. And if you need it to catch up with you, it will definitely catch up. Because he will have no other choice but to do exactly that. Just like in the process of synchronization, yes, that's what this machine is, and synchronization. Something that allows you to perceive reality. You are always able to interact with reality, so that it is always perfectly synchronized with you. In any of your desires, in any of your manifestations, in any of your possibilities. Syncing always works perfectly. It's just that people sometimes think that something negative happens sometime, or that they don't want it to happen, that there are no northern synchronizations in this. But in fact, if this happens, it's part of the synchronization process. If something happens that you don't want to happen, then this is the machine that works, which synchronizes you with what you don't prefer, based on the beliefs that you have. That is, it always works perfectly. You don't need to worry about it, that this synchronization will leak out at some point, yes, or ignore you. This doesn't happen. All the moments they perfectly synchronize with the same force, with the same speed, both positive and negative. But if you meet all the time with what is not your preference, realities, it means that you still have beliefs that allow you to perceive this reality, which allows this synchronization machine to give you exactly what you want to get. Sometimes, not understanding what the point is in what you get, because it seems like you don't like it. If you didn't put some meaning into it, this would never have happened. Therefore, regarding your relationship, you must change your fundamental belief that you are very lucky not to create the relationship that you have. So, you need to look, as we have already noticed, what definitions you have regarding female fullness. What kind of definition do you have here? These words. Because you came here from such a rather peculiar side regarding those relationships. Because you said to develop your fullness from feminine and fullness. What is it? Okay, where did you get this? An interesting thing, 60% of those people who come to my consultation are specialists in the form of psychologists, coaches, similar people. This is almost 60% of those who come here. And of these 60, 80 have complex relationships. And when they themselves cannot achieve what they seem to want to achieve, they offer tools how to do it. And accordingly, you use the tool, which does not happen. Therefore, the next time you look for a psychologist, you are looking for him not only there for acquaintances, yes, and if you need to set up a harmonious relationship, ask them to tell you about the family that exists. And if this person harmoniously has those relationships that wait, if he does not have it, then in any case, he will not be able to give you something that he does not own himself. Therefore, because it is impossible. Therefore, this moment is like this, yes to you. That is, the person said, and you do not understand what he told you, and you are trying to do something without understanding what. You understand the absurdity of this situation. Have you thought about it? Look, you have a definition, right? You should strive for, what is it called? Female fullness, right? Look, if any man aspires, if any woman aspires to become a full-fledged woman, then you should be in a situation where you are incomplete. Right? If you were full-fledged, you would have nothing to strive for. So you have to get to that point, so you believe that you are an inferior woman. In other words, it does not happen that you believe that you are a fundamentally inferior woman. You believe that you lack something in order to become a full-fledged woman. And accordingly, in order for you to have this belief, in order for you to have faith that you are inferior, you must get into a situation that will turn you away, that you are an inferior woman, and you have it written down in some kind of sub-belief that what situations can happen to an inferior woman. Her man will not perceive her as a woman. Accordingly, in order for this belief to show itself to you, that you have it, you will fall into situations where a man will not perceive you as women. Accordingly, your belief that you need to strive to become a full-fledged woman, you will find yourself in situations where you will not be full, incomplete. And since you did it, once again, you researched it, it made sense to you. But when you've researched it enough, it makes you sick. Because it's like a detour for some fruit, no matter how beautiful they are. Yes, if there are a lot of them, then the company urge will begin. It's not that the fruit is bad, but because, well, can you stop eating? Do you understand? And eating this food, eating these beliefs that are not attuned, is not a vibration of your original being, because if you are a woman, then there is no more complete being in terms of femininity than you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be who you are. You create all the patterns and illusions that you need to do something, run somewhere, in order to become who you already are. But when you realize that you are already who you are, all you have done is to forget about it and see if being myself. How can I schizophrenic? Yes, and start looking for myself, the one that I already am. Yes. Create a perception of myself where I won't feel like who I am. Therefore, you think that you need to get more of something in order to already be what you are. But why you don't feel like who you are? It says that you have put on too many incomprehensible things and clothes, some beliefs and definitions. Therefore, in order to be yourself, you do not need any more definitions, beliefs. You need to remove from yourself what you have. If you feel inwardly, yes, it is shown to you, because this is the experience that you have received. One person told you that you need to be like us for Jack Ainge, PJ. PJ, that is, you have, let's say, this abbreviation, yes, and you feel in touch with it, because it's just a belief. PJ is a belief. It didn't appear before this planet appeared. It appeared literally a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. In other words, you were born earlier, roughly speaking, than this belief. So this already tells you that you are more significant. I do not know if the old man can approach the baby there and ask him to give him more of the knowledge that he already has. It's impossible, so you should know. I mean, but you've researched it, right? You're a big smart girl that you did this, because you now know something that is not your preference. You have the awareness that it's just a choice that you have, that you've already explored. The more you become an informed person, the more you have knowledge not only about what is your preference, but also about what you do not prefer. But when you have awareness, and you are about it, you already perceive it as just a choice. You don't have to agree with it, you don't have to accept it, but you don't have to fight it, or make it so that this choice is not your reality. Because the struggle with something immerses you even more there, to what you are struggling with. This can be seen in everything. The more struggle, the more immersion. When you realize that this is someone who appears to you and says, listen, but there is such a belief about women, or there is such a political belief, or there is such a state structure that you do not like, and you say no, oh, thank you, this does not suit me, then you will have ways to make it so that you no longer perceive this reality. Not through struggle, because any struggle will only plunge you more into it, because you negatively confirm that this is the only thing that can exist, and there can be no alternatives to this. It is a manifestation through your struggle, and when you look, it's just a choice. Well, something's not very interesting. It doesn't suit me right. No, oh, thank you. And you start to be open to the opposite of that, or to the other choice that you have. Because you know, if you were given this choice, it means that there is an alternative choice anyway. Otherwise, they could not perceive this choice. And you begin to be ready not to rush chaotically in search of this alternative choice, but to wait. Because this is what some people say they need to return home spiritually. Because in reality, what you are looking for can only be at home. And if you are not at home, when you are rushing around in search of a fight with someone, in search of finding something that you think you are missing, then in this state, you are not at home. You're somewhere. Are you on some square? Are you at some kind of event to search for a permanent residence? Or is it something called something, right? Or are you in some kind of consultation with a person in headphones, who he is chatting about these in principle, logical and understandable to everyone including you, from birth, ideas and understanding. You see, at this moment you are not at home, and when what you want comes to your home, it doesn't find you there. So we're going back.